adalah karena semua orang harus ngertiin kamu, ya nggak?
Mati.
The following story is inspired by actual events of the time. The story starts in 2009, in the warm and cheerful atmosphere of a junior high school. We meet a young student named Edwin, who is completely absorbed in his sketchbook. He has a natural talent for drawing, and his art catches the eye of his friend, Panka. Panka is impressed and praises Edwin's skill, but he has another motive. He has a crush on Edwin's older sister, Sylvie, and awkwardly asks Edwin to deliver a love letter to her for him.
Lo kasih aja sendiri tuh.
Ya ampun, Cak, hari gini masih pakai surat cinta. Cuman diterima atau enggaknya belum tahu deh.
Good luck. Perasaan baru 5 menit.
They are all confused. The break seemed far too short, and the timing feels wrong. Their confusion is soon explained. A teacher enters the classroom and makes a grave announcement. School is being dismissed immediately for the safety of the students. Violent riots have erupted across the city and everyone is instructed to go directly home and stay there. After being dismissed, Panka offers to give Edwin and Sylvie a ride, but they decline. Not wanting to leave them, Panka decides to get off his own ride and accompany them on their journey home by public bus. As they travel, Edwin tries to call his parents to check on them, but both of their phones are off, a first small sign that something is terribly wrong. A few kilometers down the road, their journey comes to a halt. The bus is trapped in a massive traffic jam caused by the riots. Sylvie is forcibly captured and dragged off the bus into a dark, narrow alleyway. Edwin and Panka are left behind, completely helpless and weak. The attackers plan to sexually assault Sylvie. Panka, despite being a local, is threatened when he tries to intervene. The rioters call him a traitor for defending the Chinese, and to make an example of him, one of them takes out a knife and viciously slices open the palm of Panka's hand.
Cabut gak? Cabut lo!
Hours later, Edwin slowly regains consciousness in the now quiet alley. He is met with a horrifying scene. He finds his sister's torn and discarded clothing, and the terrible reality of what has happened to her sinks in. Stumbling out of the alley, he sees that the city is a war zone, with fires burning and buildings destroyed. To survive and move through the streets without being identified as Chinese, he quickly smears charcoal dust over his face as a disguise. His journey ends with the worst possible discovery. His own home is engulfed in flames. He realizes with sickening finality that his parents were trapped inside and have perished in the fire. In a single day, he has lost everything. The scene jumps forward 18 years to 2027. The deep-seated hatred against the Chinese community has not faded. Hateful posters and anti-Chinese graffiti are a common sight, a constant reminder of the simmering tensions. We see an adult Edwin, his face hardened by his past, on his way to an interview for a position as a teacher. The school is Thorn High School. Edwin meets with the principal, who is surprisingly candid. He tells Edwin that the school is lucky to have him, as they are severely understaffed. Teachers are constantly quitting because they cannot handle the relentless harassment and threats from the students. The principal explains his own method of control. He doesn't blame the students, but rather the teachers for failing to establish authority. He himself is untouchable because he holds the ultimate power, the ability to expel any student and withhold recommendations, effectively ending their academic future. This threat is the only thing the students fear.
Bapak saya dari timur. Saya cuma khawatir kalau nanti Anda dapat masalah.
Selamat pagi. Saya wali kelas kalian yang baru. Silakan duduk di bangku masing-masing.
Edwin's authority is immediately tested by a student named Jeffrey, who is clearly the defiant leader of the class. Jeffrey openly mocks him. Edwin doesn't yell or get angry. Instead, he walks slowly over to Jeffrey's desk and speaks to him in a low, cutting voice. He delivers a psychological blow, saying, "You talk to your parents like that and then wonder why they hate you."
Iya, saya tahu tipe anak macam kamu. Susah diatur. Iya, saya tahu banyak dari kalian yang menyepelekan mata pelajaran ini, tapi yang ingin saya ajarkan adalah...
Kalau ada apa-apa kabarin ibu ya.
After the tense class ends, Edwin is approached by a friendly fellow teacher named Diana, who asks him how he handled his first day. However, Edwin wasn't in the mood and tells her they will talk tomorrow. As school lets out, we see the true nature of Jeffrey and his friends. They gather their gang and go out into the streets, actively hunting for a Chinese student to attack, showing that the hateful violence of 2009 is still very much alive in this new generation. Edwin is a regular visitor to a hidden, well-guarded underground club that serves as a safe haven for the Chinese community. A waitress there, seeing his somber mood, tries to cheer him up, reminding him it's a place to relax. When she learns he's a new teacher at Thorn High, her tone changes, and she warns him to be extremely careful. Leaving the club that night, Edwin comes across a familiar face in trouble. He sees his student, Christo, being brutally beaten by a group of students from a rival school. This incident triggers a powerful and painful flashback for Edwin. He remembers visiting his sister Sylvie in the hospital after the assault in 2009. She was alive, but barely. In her final moments, she revealed a heartbreaking secret. She had become pregnant from the assault and had given birth to a son. Her dying wish, her final plea to her brother, was for him to find her child. The only clue she could give him was that her son was now a student at Thorn High School. This is Edwin's true mission. His suspicion has already started to fall on Christo. He comes across him on the bus the next day, and Edwin can't help but stare at him, making the boy feel uncomfortable. At school, the tension continues to build. After Edwin saved Christo last night from the gangs, he is confronted by Jeffrey and his friends. Jeffrey is angry that students from a rival school dared to attack someone from Thorn High, showing a twisted sense of school loyalty.
Kenapa gak gambar? Gak ada kertas gambar. Sama sekali gak ada. Dikasih dispensasi. Karena semua orang harus ngertiin kamu, ya gak sih? Tunggu apa lagi? Punya reputasi pernah ngajar guru di sekolah.
While Jeffrey once again refuses to participate, Edwin walks over to Christo's desk and sees his drawing. Christo has a remarkable talent for art, a skill that reminds Edwin of himself and runs deep in their family. His gut feeling that Christo could be his long-lost nephew grows stronger. After the class is over, the students head to Edwin's desk to submit their work, but Jeffrey waits until last to make a point along with his submission.
Mati.
Besok bisa ketemu nanti pulang sekolah.
Kapan? Nggak bisa, saya buru-buru.
Kenapa nih?
Hai guys. Biasa. Apa lagi?
Ada yang baru nih.
Sombong banget lu anjing. Mana dong?
Oh iya.
Ya kan emang apa?
Ya, saya habis pikir aja.
Soal?
Kenapa kamu mau ngajar di sini?
Lebih gampang lagi jadi guru perempuan di sini. Kalau yang nggak baik, itu semua pengaruh laki-laki.
Tapi gila ya, kondisi sekarang memang lebih parah dari waktu kau kecil.
Anterin.
Nek Roni. Nek. Roni. Kenapa pindah-pindah ngajar?
Saya lagi nyari seseorang.
Kamu bukan Intel kan?
Tapi profesi bagus tuh buat orang Cina.
That night, Edwin enjoys a good time with his colleague Diana. However, after a while, the room goes silent to hear the news reporting massive riots on the streets. The reason behind it is an interreligion clash after a small argument between vendors in the market. Now, it has spread to the city, making people fear it's the same kind as it was 17 years ago.
Aneh gue masih jauh. Lanjut, masih.
Mudah-mudahan perusahaannya nggak menjalar kemana-mana ya.
Later, as Edwin walks home from the club, he finds himself ambushed by a masked man. It's definitely Jeffrey, who thinks he can attack and leave anonymously. After several attempts to harm Edwin, he fails because Edwin can effectively defend every move.
Lu mau kemana anjing? Dia bisa kamu kentot.
Jeffrey is the first one to report the incident. He claims he suffered a life-threatening assault by the principal. However, Edwin also does not back down or show any empathy. After entering the principal's office, he states that he was attacked around 11 o'clock after parting ways with Ms. Diana.
Tapi saya berhasil menikam pahanya dengan pisaunya sendiri. Saya membela diri.
Turunkan celana kamu. Silakan kemasi barang-barang kamu. Sekolah di sini lagi.
With the undeniable proof, Jeffrey is immediately expelled from Thorn High. Meanwhile, Edwin gets in class ready to teach. But in a show of defiance and loyalty, Jeffrey's entire gangster friends decide to quit school along with him. But Edwin doesn't bother and heads on with the day's lesson. Later after school, he approaches Cristo once again and tells him he is decorating the classroom for Independence Day. He wants Cristo to be part of it, with his drawings hung all over, and so he invites him. Cristo is fine with it, except he will only come if his friend Ranga comes along. That night, Edwin is at home when he receives a call from Diana.
Aku bisa ketemu kamu.
Jangan sekarang.
Halo. Saya kira Bapak gay, makanya saya bawa Rangga.
Edwin, Diana, Cristo, and Ranga meet in a classroom and begin preparing for the decoration. Meanwhile, outside the school gate, Jeffrey and his friends wait for the best opportunity to go in and attack the teacher. The atmosphere in the city is still tense, and news reports on the radio and television confirm everyone's worst fears. The riots in the north have spread, and the entire city is descending into chaos. Hearing this, the school security guards rush home to protect their families. That is when the gang gets a chance to enter the school premises.
Kami sarankan kepada para pendengar untuk tidak keluar rumah.
Akhirnya. Pak, Jeffrey sama teman-temannya datang, Pak.
Edwin and the group run through the empty halls hoping to save themselves. They turn one corner and plan their next move. Edwin says he will stall the gang while the rest of them take the emergency exit upstairs. He knows Jeffrey came for him and that the others shouldn't be victims of the brutal students. However, Diana knows better than to be a coward, and she drags Edwin with them to find a safe place to hide. Inside the auditorium, terror sets in. Cristo and Ranga are panicking, arguing that they shouldn't be involved since Jeffrey's target is only Edwin. Overwhelmed with guilt, Edwin prepares to surrender himself to save the others, but Diana holds him back, insisting that Jeffrey is too unstable to be reasoned with. Additionally, how can they trust he won't hurt the rest of them too? Just then, Ranga remembers his father will come to the school looking for him, since he knows he is here. Ranga tells the group there is a riot outside and the guards have probably left them too. It is then that Cristo reveals a horrifying secret that shows just how dangerous Jeffrey is, and that they may be in serious trouble.
Dia mabuk berat. Dia cerita kalau dia pernah bunuh orang. Terus Jeffrey nge-email gue link video di cloud storage-nya bukti ngebunuh Odi katanya.
Kamu nggak laporin polisi.
Saya takut banget, Bu. Locker room. Nggak ada jalan keluar dari situ. Ayo, Pak. Tuh. Keluar dulu. Yuk. Sumbat.
Bapak!
Ya?
Saya bapaknya Rangga. Kan nggak tahu ada kerusuhan di mana-mana.
Oh, tahu, Om.
Ya terus kenapa nggak pulang?
Rangga! Bokap lo dateng nih anjing! Lo keluar sekarang atau kita habisin bokap lo? Lepasin bangsat!
Ranga's father is immediately attacked by Jeffrey and his gang. Jeffrey now has a hostage. He plans to torture Ranga's father, and Ranga knows it. He blames himself for coming to school that day and cries out for some miracle to turn the situation around. Edwin tries to calm him down and, desperate to stop it all, decides to give in to Jeffrey.
Lanjut, guys.
Iya, babi. Baik, saya akan keluar. Ini semua gara-gara saya. Maaf, saya minta maaf.
Kamu keluar, kita semua bakal mati. Itu yang kamu mau.
Saya yang kamu mau. Saya akan keluar.
Edwin makes Jeffrey's gang call out their names and back away from the door. Just as they do, Edwin swiftly opens it, with the others staying behind him. For a while, the enemies stare at them, and just when Edwin feels ready, he drags the badly beaten father inside the auditorium and slams it shut, just before the gang can get to them. Of course, this enrages Jeffrey even more, and he promises to end them one way or another.
Entot lo.
Mundur. Mundur.
Oke, sekarang lo keluar.
bukan orang pengecut, bukan juga orang yang suka ngumpat.
Sekarang gimana?
Kita tunggu.
Rangga dan bapaknya belum keluar.
Siapa? Mereka udah keluar dari tadi. Tapi lu keluar sekarang.
Edwin's brief victory is short-lived. He tries to renegotiate with Jeffrey, begging him to let Ranga and his injured father go free. But Jeffrey is done talking. He decides to escalate his terror. He orders one of his friends to siphon gasoline from a car in the parking lot. The plan is to burn Ranga's father alive. When Edwin still refuses to surrender, Jeffrey follows through on his threat. He has his gang douse Ranga's father in gasoline.
5!
The final horrific act is too much for some of the gang members. They are just teenagers, and they stare in shock at what they've done. They signed up for a fight, not a massacre. The fear and doubt are visible on their faces. When the two killers return to Jeffrey, he sees the blood on the machete and realizes Ranga's father is dead. Meanwhile, he notices another friend crying, regretting his choice of coming there.
Ada lagi yang mati. Hah? Nangis? Mau nangis? Hah?
Kakakku diperkosa. Lalu anaknya diserahin ke orang. Hari ini aku ajak Kristo ke sini buat nyari tahu. Diana, Kristo harus hidup.
The group frantically searches for another way out and discovers a small ventilation shaft. Edwin decides to go first, planning to find and disable a signal jammer the gang has set up so they can call for help. Meanwhile, Jeffrey's paranoia is spiraling out of control. When one panicked friend asks to go to the toilet to pee, his suspicions turn into sinister intentions.
Lu mau kencing?
Babi. Lagi ngerencanain apa sih kalian? Hah?
Kami semua di sini, Jeff.
Ngapain pada diem? Pikir dong gimana cara bukanya.
Jeff, gue bukan Jeff.
Itu dari siapa?
Edwin, Diana, and Kristo are now hiding in a science lab. Two gang members enter the room and the team quietly hides behind a desk. The gang members talk about how things are spiraling out of control, but only one of them believes it's Jeffrey's wrong decisions that are dragging them into brutality.
Aku mau ngalahin perhatiin mereka.
Pakai HP saya. Saya sama dia mudah.
Cari mereka sekarang.
Dia itu berpikir kalau kamu itu ponakannya. Hah?
Diana takes a moment to tell Kristo that Edwin believes they might be related. Kristo sadly shakes his head, explaining it's impossible. His father and mother are Malaysian, and he was born in Malaysia. He had a twin brother, and that's all there is to his background. Meanwhile, Edwin runs up the stairs only to come face to face with Jeffrey, who is now fully turned into evil.
Tapi Pak Edwin...
The fight is over, but the nightmare is not. The sounds of the battle have attracted looters from the citywide riots, who now begin to swarm the school. In the midst of the chaos, Edwin picks up Christo's phone and finally watches the video Jeffrey had sent him. It's a video of the murder of Oy Nugroho, but it also contains something else, Jeffrey confessing that his mother was Chinese.
Nyokap gue Cina, diperkosa rame-rame. Senang lo, hah? Bokap gue banyak.
Just as the mob is about to grab him, a car door swings open and the driver speeds off, saving his life at a crucial time. There are other Chinese at the back of the van as well, and the driver claims he will drop them off somewhere safe and return to rescue others. The plot twist comes when the driver introduces himself as Panka, his hand bearing the faint scar from the day of the first riot.